Glory men let it slip through their fingers as they share the points with the Mariners. Transfer deadline day, the Australian transfer window ready to slam shut, and the NST announcement imminent. Just what will it look like? Welcome to the podcast that delivers more disappointment than a Kansas City Chiefs first half display. This is the Far Post Perth, presented by ID Athletic. Get your entries in to kit out your team for free in 2025. All the details on the Far Post Perth social media pages. To enter, visit idathletic.com. Also, make sure you check out the T's and C's, and good luck. Also, big thank you to Trio Homes. If you're looking to build, redesign or renovate, visit triohomes.com.au. Plenty to chat about on this episode. Plenty of A-League. A little bit later on, special guest Lachie Wales will jump on board. So very much looking forward to having a chat with Lachie. But with me on this episode, to my left, James Renton. Welcome back, mate.
Thanks, Blayne.
And Neil Sherwin. Sorry for that little dig at the start, Neil.
Do you know, I actually it could have been worse. You could have mentioned Brian Adams on Sunday night, because I was also involved in that. So,
is that right?
Yeah.
Was it you that clogged the toilets?
No.
Come on, Neil.
It wasn't. I was a victim, an innocent victim, bringing the average age down by about 15, 20 years.
I was going to say.
So, yeah, that was good. But now the Chiefs show, yeah.
Very good. Let's start the only way we know how, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm going to start with the good tonight, boys, because I'm pretty excited about the announcement for this National Second Division tomorrow. I think it's fair to say it's probably not what the ultimate goal of what everyone wants this competition to be, but the way that I understand it, will be 16 teams, 4 groups of 4, 8 NST clubs plus the 8 premiers, or in WA's case, the champions, whoever finishes top of the league in each state. And an interesting part is clubs will be having to pay their players for additional weeks after the NPL season. So this is where the rubber hits the road a little bit, I guess, as far as the finances go. I do, and I have heard that travel will be partly subsidised by Football Australia, and WA teams will host at least 3 matches. There is a little bit of a caveat, but if they draw an NST side, so one of the original 8, in the, I guess, the latter stages, the final stages, those games will be played away regardless of where you finish.
Yeah, well, obviously when that model first came out or was first reported, I think there was definitely a fair amount of disappointment from the fans. But I think overall, on reflection, we need to start from somewhere, and we need to get to a second division as soon as we can, but in a way that's going to be sustainable, because we can't just get there and then realise, no, we haven't planned this out right, or the trial hasn't worked. So, look, I'm just hoping that in its current model that it can be somewhat successful. Because many people, for some time, for longer than I've been alive, have been calling for a national second division, and fingers crossed it can work.
Neil, a step in the right direction?
You know me on this. I'm not.
Well, you've said that. Well,
I just want something to happen.
Well, no, exactly. But I think I'm also right in saying that I'm
a pyramid guy, right? Get it done. See what happens.
Yeah.
Kick it off. If it goes to shit, at least you tried. But just too much talking, too many maybes. Now let's just see some football, see how it works out, and see if this funding of it happens. Of course, you have to pay the players. You can't be expecting lads to give up their time and have an even longer year. It's a hard year in the bodies for the NPL players. I mean, they train 3 days a week, play Saturday, work.
Well, it's a 12-month season if you include pre-season.
Exactly. So there's a lot of things to be considered in that, and will some of them actually have the commitment to do that as well? You know, there's probably might be some questions asked, especially with some of the older players. Is that something, and as you mentioned, those away games, having to travel, if that's the case, is it something that they can commit to? So yeah, plenty of questions to be asked. It'll be good to see the WA teams involved in some capacity, a bit like the Australia Cup, and dip our toes in the water, see what happens.
No, beauty. Carry on with your good quickly, James.
I'll be quite obvious. The Sydney Derby, I really enjoyed it. And we tend to do so just because of the atmosphere that it provides. But I think this one was probably one of the best in a few years, just given how many fans rocked up to SFS, how entertaining it was. I mean, it was starting to look like the Wanderers were starting to run away with it a little bit, and then bang, out of nowhere, here comes Sydney FC. So that's the A-League at its best, in my view, where you've got a full house, you've got all the fans involved, creating a really good atmosphere so that both sets of fans And I think just in a sense of what the A-League was in that period from, let's say, 2013 to 2016, where the quality on the park and also off the park, in the sense of the noise that was created by the fans, it just created a really enjoyable experience that even as a neutral I really enjoyed.
Yeah, no, I thought it was tops. Neil, what's been good, mate?
Yeah, the derby is the obvious one, but I suppose, look, I'm a long time hater of 6 teams getting into finals, reward mediocrity and all that stuff. But if you're going to have it that way, at least keep it competitive. And I think if you look at the table from 3rd down to 9th, 25 points separating them with 9-10 games left. So, you could get a big interchange of positions over the next while. So it does keep things interesting while we don't have relegation and more teams and all of that. But yeah, I'm clutching at straws.
How many teams are still in it, do you feel, as far as finals go?
I don't know. Because it can change so quickly in a week to week. I mean, a few weeks ago, Melbourne City were right up the top, and now they're down to 7th. And Western Sydney have 2 wins in their last 5, 2 wins and a draw. The Mariners just keep drawing, so if they can turn them into wins, then possibly they can push to 6 as well. And Melbourne Victory are hot and cold, so it's hard to say who's locked in. I mean, I would say, obviously Auckland, Adelaide, Sydney FC you'd expect to when they're at their best, but they've had speed bumps as well. So, probably those 3 would be the only ones that I'd say would be 100% locked in for spots. The rest could be interchangeable over the next few weeks.
My bad's a fairly obvious one at the moment, and unfortunately I'm going to have to throw Ollie Sale under the bus for the weekend. And I want to caveat this because I think he's been outstanding the last couple of weeks. I think he's pulled off some really big saves, some really important saves, but geez, when you're holding on to a 1-0 lead and it's as tame as it was, it just wasn't great. So carry on with your bad.
I'm going to go overseas and look at Tottenham. I mean, we've mentioned them before, but I think not getting results against either Liverpool or Aston Villa, despite how passionate Ange Postecoglou was at full time defending his players against Aston Villa, I think not getting a result in either of those games, despite them being tough games, is going to hurt his chances, I believe, of staying long term. Because I really want to see it work, him being an Australian manager, and obviously the hand that he's been dealt with in terms of injuries has been dreadful for any side. But I think with his comment that he made at the start of the season by saying, mate, I always win things in my second season, probably was, a bit too much of a big call to make, especially for a club like Tottenham, which has been, renowned for promising a lot but failing to deliver. And I think there'll be, if he continues to stay, a fair bit of pressure for him to have a successful Europa League run because, there aren't many top teams left in that competition aside from Man United, despite how dicey we have been this season. But I think that's going to be a big opportunity for him. And I think if he is to keep his position as the head coach at Tottenham, that's a competition that he needs to have a really successful run in.
Neil, what's been bad?
Personal one.
Don't get too personal.
It's not about Super Bowl. Sunday League Sunburn. It's back.
Oh,
everybody's starting up their pre-season friendlies at the moment, and I know the last 2 Sundays I've got absolutely roasted. No amount of zinc or sunscreen or reapply.
Did you go the pink? Did you go the pink zinc like Warney? Did you?
White zinc.
Oh, you've gone there.
But I just know that every Sunday now I'm getting cooked.
Yeah, right.
It's 10 o'clock kickoff last Sunday, lunchtime kickoff this coming Sunday. I looked at the forecast, it's 32 degrees. I just know the aloe vera is going to be out in spades on Sunday night.
Thoughts and prayers.
And there's loads of us in the same position that, you start to question yourself, especially at my age.
Yeah. So, fair enough.
That's a bad.
My ugly, and I don't want to get too deep on this, but it's just the Sam Kerr situation. It's just a really ugly situation no matter where you sit on it. There's some really ugly commentary around it. There's some really ugly takes around it and everything else. Not
an ideal situation.
No, not at all. Not at all. And not what you. It's not behaviour that you want to see from a captain, regardless of where you sit on it.
And a role model to so many young boys and girls.
Yeah. I guess we'll be careful what we say, but we'll let that play its course.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the resolution can be found, and I guess there is a way to move on because Sam Kerr is a fantastic player, and what she has done over her career, particularly being a role model for young girls and boys, can't be overstated enough. It's been, I'm sure the impact would have been massive, And this is just an unfortunate incident that, you know, has been portrayed quite a fair bit in the media, and at this point in time doesn't have Sam in the best light. But I think everyone knows that she's a fantastic player, and this is just a big mistake. Yeah.
No, I agree. I think that she didn't articulate herself very well at all. Probably there's some, as I said, some really ugly commentary around it as well, Neil.
Watch that.
No, that's okay.
But having said that now, look, there's definitely going to be some repercussions for her. I did listen to Bruchette talk about it, about her having to step down from the captaincy of the Matildas, and I'd agree with that. And that's probably as far as it needs to go. Talk of losing her career and sponsorships and all this nonsense.
It's jail.
No.
You know what I mean?
People have come back from far worse and other codes and have bigger indiscretions now. I'm not saying that that's your benchmark.
Yeah.
But there absolutely should be some consequences. It's embarrassing as much as anything else. It's stupid behaviour on her part and anyone else involved. So they just need to grow up a little bit. And if that's what happens, that's what happens. Take the captaincy off her, get her back playing, and then let her focus on the football side of things for a while.
And family. I mean, she's got a little one on the way as well, so it's not ideal. James, what's been ugly?
Melbourne Victory's capitulation against Newcastle.
That was great.
That wasn't ugly. That was brilliant.
No, of course, for us it's fantastic. But for them, given that, you know, they've been so hot and cold this season, particularly under Arthur Dills, I'm sure
we spoke about it on this program last week about how it was a banana skin.
Yeah, and I was thinking, no, surely they would, you know, get the job done in Newey. They would find a way, get a result, and continue on from what was a tough away performance or tough away game for them when they played us at HBF in front of a very good crowd. We certainly made it a very tough game for them, but I felt just the way in which they capitulated in that last 15 or 10 minutes in added time. Obviously, with that incident, it's good to hear that the fan involved is doing okay. But just for a side that's not been very convincing, the manner in which they capitulated, I think, as a Melbourne Victory fan, if you were a Melbourne Victory fan, you'd be very concerned.
Yeah. Neil, what's been ugly?
Keep it local again. Yeah. Prices for playing football. So it comes up every year. Looking at? Cost. Well, it depends what level you're playing at, but you're probably looking 1,500-1,600 for MPL teams, down to 500-600 for amateurs. You know, socials. Yeah, there's a lot involved in it, and you look at the breakdown, and it's very hard to see where you can make a saving. But having said that, there needs to be some sort of subsidies for kids, especially because my other half works at a disadvantaged school. She's a teacher. I went out there and did some football coaching with them. Really good, young, talented players coming from difficult backgrounds, difficult situations. They don't play for club teams. They can't afford it. You know, the families just cannot afford to pay for football. So it's not that we're an elitist sport in any way, shape or form. Football is all-encompassing, all-welcoming, all that sort of stuff. But there's absolutely pockets of society that are priced out of playing. Yeah. And I know that some clubs have done free fees and there's been some initiatives. Yeah, kids sports vouchers. Yeah. They go some way, but they certainly don't cover it for a kid for a year. When you talk about training costs and, you know, even if you pay about a week, there's still ongoing costs.
Is this where schools have to be involved a little bit more, do you feel? I mean, I know teachers have already got huge amounts of pressure on them, but...
Well, there is school teams and they play for the school teams and that's covered. But if they want to do anything extracurricular, it's on to the parents, and sometimes they don't even have the parents there to do that. So I've seen it firsthand, and there's some real talent there. And we've seen players coming through at MPL level that we know have come from less advantaged backgrounds, and they're ballers, for want of a better term. Yep. It's just how do we get them into the academies, into the system, or you just maybe lose them to other sports that they do have better subsidy programs, or you lose them altogether and they just go off and they hang around the street corners and fall in with bad crowds. And that is it might be a bit of a stereotype, but it's also stereotypes are there for a reason. It's realistic from what I've seen anyway. So how do we make it? It comes around this time every year when registrations are opening up and people are signing up for the year and parents are trying to find where the money comes from, especially if they play multi-sports as well, swimming costs, and, you know, if you go and do life-saving and you do dancing and all, it all adds up. So how does football stay relevant in such a competitive environment is a big one for me, and I think we probably should do more as a sport. All right.
Boys, thank you very much for that. We will move on. We'll take a bit of a break. On the other side of this, Lachie Wales is going to join us with a bit of a chat about what brought him to Perth. Why is he even staying in Perth? Have a chat about a few other things. Lachie Wales to join us next here on the Far Post Perth Podcast.
What a run! This could be the one! It's in! That's what it's all about! And when it comes comes to sports gear that helps you perform your best, ID Athletic has the winning formula. From grassroots clubs to elite athletes, ID Athletic provides high-quality sporting apparel, screen printing, embroidery, and made-to-order promotional products. Proud sponsors of the Far Post Perth and passionate supporters of WA community sport. Visit ID Athletic at 84 Howe Street, Osborne Park, or online at idathletic.com. ID Athletic. Build your identity.
Tired of the same old cookie-cutter home designs? Dreaming of a space that truly reflects you? Then it's time to talk to the team at Trio Homes. Whether you're looking to build your dream home, redesign your current space, or simply renovate, Trio Homes is committed to unique designs, local personalised service and quality workmanship. And with former Perth Glory star Dino Julbich at the helm, you'll know you're getting passion and dedication built into every project. Discover the difference with Trio Homes. Visit triohomes.com.au.
Welcome back to the Far Post Perth Podcast. Big thank you to ID Athletic and, of course, Dino Julbich and the team at Trio Homes. Gents, we're delighted to be joined by a guest. Haven't had a guest for a few weeks, so it's fantastic to have Lachie Wales with us. Lachie, thanks for jumping on board, mate. How's things?
Nah, very good. Thanks for having me, boys. Obviously, really enjoying my time here at the club at the moment. So, yeah, really happy I can come on here and have a chat with you, boys.
Absolutely, mate. How you been settling into Perth?
Oh, it's unreal. Really enjoying the training and all the boys' company, and also my partner's moved over here with me, so we're enjoying the weather and getting down to a few beaches, and yeah, it's a beautiful place to live, and just, as I said, enjoying being back playing football in Australia, and ready to rip into the second half of the season.
Mate, you're a coastie originally. I imagine the beaches here probably sit quite nicely with you.
Yeah, the beaches are beautiful here. I think they're the best beaches I've seen. I got down to Rottnest Island last week, and it's amazing. So,
how's the cocker selfie game?
Yeah. Oh, my missus is all over that. She's loving that. And as I said, for me, lifestyle is a really important part of my life as well. I find when I'm near the beach or when I'm doing things I love, I seem to play better. So I'm hoping that rubs off here.
Good stuff, mate. How are you settling in the team? Obviously, you've come in. I think we put something on the podcast. The cavalry arrived, with your head on a kind of white knight, mate. Is that the way it feels that you've been coming to kind of do a bit of a job on the project?
Yeah, for sure. If you want to put it there, but just coming in and backing my ability as a professional, and also what I can bring off the field to the team. I think there's a good bunch of lads there. There's a lot of young players at the club, and being at Western United when it's kind of first started up, I see similarities here, and I want to come in and help the club as much as I can, and bring a new energy to the team, and hopefully the fans can see that in my first couple of games.
Yeah, there is a bit of a thought process, a bit of a stigma that we kind of maybe chip on our shoulder is a fair thing. So, like, nobody wants to come to Perth, and we've been told this time and time again that players ask for more money to come to Perth, or they'll come to Perth for a year to get out of Perth. Play well, get yourself noticed again, and then see you later. And with Glory being towards the bottom of the ladder, what is the incentive for you as a player looking to, as you said, come back to Australia, to come here over other clubs? Why would you do that?
It's a good question. I have done a lot of work on leadership in the last few years. I'm really interested in reading books about leadership and being a leader, and it's something I want to do here. I've never chosen an easy option in my whole career. As I said to you, going to Western United, startup club, the first season I was there, we finished 10th. And the next season, learning off the likes of Kilkenny, Topo Stanley, people like that, and seeing how quickly the game can change and a club can change. And just speaking to Stan and Driller and people at the club, they want the best for the club, and they really do. And, you see the fans. There's 11,000 people there at the moment, and we're coming second last. It's amazing. No other club can do that in the league. 60,000 at Optus for a grand final. Imagine if we can get back to those heights, and one town team, and get everyone believing in Perth Glory again, because I believe it's a sleeping giant, and it just needs a winning culture and I guess that winning culture to bring it back to life.
Because you've only been here for a relatively short time, but obviously when you came to the club and you had your first press conference, you definitely mentioned that leadership was a big part of your role here. How have you found that process, given that you've had the career that you have done so far, obviously winning the championship with West United and then having that experience in Korea?
Yeah, it's, coming into the change room and seeing how many young players there are in the A-League at the moment, it's almost a change in the generation, the way you speak to those young players, the way you've got to help them through situations. For example, they've worked so hard in the off-season, Perth. A lot of young players start the first game, they lose the first game, 5-0 to MacArthur. That doesn't help their confidence, that doesn't help their belief if it's their first season or second season. I think you're seeing it now even with some of the teams in the league, your Adelaide's, Western United. Last year Western United really struggled with a lot of young players out there. They've got through those 20 or 30 games now and they're starting to come out the other side, and you're seeing the best in those young players. And I think for me, the biggest thing is at my age is to help, say, a Jalen Pim, and if he's playing number 10 and I'm playing on the wing, to help him through moments of the game. Because when you're young, you can play 30, 40 minutes at a very high quality, and then it's about the rest of that. And you're seeing that at the moment for large periods of the games. We can dominate, but we can't quite dominate for 90 minutes. And that might just be these young players, getting their first 5 or 10 games under their belt, and how they're adapting, I guess, to, people writing about them on Twitter, people, blowing up their phones.
That wouldn't be us.
These are just small things that, people don't see every day today. But when I was a young player, you almost feel exhausted after your 5th game because there's just so much going on. You've got to do a press conference, you're nervous, like stuff like that. And I noticed early in my career, you can get caught up in that a little bit and just be almost exhausted by the time you get out there. So just trying to share that experience with them and, help them through games. And you can see in the last few weeks we're starting to come good, and we're playing good football and we're dominating for, I think against Auckland we played really well. Then against Victory we had that spell after half time, which was I think the best we played all year. Newcastle we didn't quite play as well as we wanted to in the first half, but we found a way to dig ourselves out of it and fight together and get a point, which is massive on the road. And then, that game against the Mariners, the first half was excellent. And then, we copped the goal to go 1-1 and we seemed to fight back again. So there's really good signs, and, it's just about keeping the belief in those younger boys and knowing that the change will come.
Were there any, when you were a young player, obviously because you were at Mariners and City and so forth, were there any leaders or captains that you took particular inspiration of, in the sense of he's leading in that way, that's someone that I want to emulate when it's my turn to lead?
Yeah, for sure. There's so many different ways to lead as well. For example, when I was at Western, Josh Risdon was the captain for the grand final. You guys probably know him, he doesn't say much. So he leads by, putting the man in the stand or being aggressive or winning his duels or someone like that. Then you've got someone like Neil Kilkenny who will lead in a way of balking, coaching, giving you advice, maybe giving you a spray to get you through the game, So there's so many different ways to go about it. And for me, I'm a very energetic person. I play energetically as well. So I feel like, if we want to play this high pressing style, if I go, Tags goes, the next one's got to go, it's infectious, and it becomes like a domino effect for those young boys to go, well, if they're going, we're all going. And that's what we want to get to. And, I'm really looking forward to trying to get all the young players to that level to where, we can compete for finals, or we can do something special here.
Just on your personal style, Lachie, I've always fancied you as a player because, you always seem to give Perth a fair bit of stick when you're on the opposition, but there's a lot of kind of pick up the ball, run at a player. There's a lot of that energetic kind of work. Is that something that comes naturally to you feel, or is that something that you've kind of worked on and just found your little niche? Yeah,
I think it's a bit of both. When I was a younger player, I played a lot on the wing, and then, during my U team, I played a lot at number 10 as well. So, a lot of people said to me when I was younger, I'm just a runner. And I think I'm showing now that I'm not just a runner. I can pick the ball up and play passes and be a more creative player. And also, I still have my speed and athleticism that can get me into goal scoring positions, and it's just about trying to take them. So,
does that come with a fair bit of confidence? Because I'm not sure we see enough of that in the A-League. There's a lot of kind of stopping, turning, looking sideways, turning backwards rather than just, or does it just take certain type of player, do you feel?
Yeah, I feel like I've never lacked confidence. I love watching players that can take the ball and do something special, and that's what the fans want to see as well. I mean, you're never going to have 11 players that are going to do that, but I feel like in those creative positions to pick up the ball and link up with players like Taggart and, trying to link up with strikers, Paddy Wood and people like that, that's my job, is to give them the service. So taking risk on the ball for me is, I'm going to lose the ball. I'm going to give the ball away. I know that, but, those one or two kind of hopefully magic moments that I can produce can win us a football game or give those boys up top a chance, yeah.
Do you know which club you've scored the most goals against?
I think it'd have to be Glory because I got a hat-trick against them once.
No, according to my stats, it's Newcastle with 4 and Glory with 3.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, well, I grew up on the Central Coast, so I had to give it to the Jets, I guess.
Look, it's fair to say that the results have been mixed and probably bad for the most part this year relative to where we want to be. And naturally that, as mentioned earlier on about Ange Postecoglou, it's a results game. David Zrilic is under quite a microscope. First-time head coach coming into this role. Lots of players that have been brought in. Yes, it's going to take time to gel, and we hear that all the time. And we now got a new batch of players coming in January. But the question that we've had come in, and it's probably one that's on everybody's lips, is what do you see in David Zrilic that gave you the confidence to sign for him, and what have you seen since you've been here? Because we're not on the training ground. You guys see that day in, day out.
Yeah, his methods are, his principles are excellent. He wants to play a high, aggressive style of play. And I think what the fans and the people have to realise every day at training, we're not just turning up and, we're doing specific drills for this. Also, you have to realise, as I said to you before, with the amount of young players that he had here at the start of the season, they might not be able to play that style of football for as long as he wants to play that style of football. As you've seen, good spells of the game we can do it for, but we can't quite do it for long enough at the moment. But what I've seen in him is he's very confident in the way he is. I mean, you don't go to these clubs in Europe and suddenly get a go to coach there. I actually spoke to a lot of boys at Sydney FC who can't say any higher things about him. They love him. What I've seen so far, he's aggressive. The way he speaks to the players is brilliant. The way he's pumping the young boys full of confidence, trying to get them up for games, and his positive mentality. And you're seeing in the last 5 weeks, it's all starting to come together. And I think adding a few more experienced players around these younger players is really going to help us. And also where the club's been the last few years, we have to take that into consideration as well. The new owner coming in, it's not just like you come in and you've got free will to do whatever you want in the A-League. There's salary caps. There's players that might be signed here by a previous coach or even a coach before that. So there's a lot of moving parts to the puzzle at the minute, and you can see that everyone's working so hard at the club for everyone to go in that one direction. And I think that's what Drill is saying is this is a direction. Everyone get on board, and once it does come to fruition, you can see that when we do put it together, we're playing some really nice football, and it'll be entertaining to watch.
I think one of the questions from me, obviously we spoke before about this, but your time in Korea, because when Adam Taggart left Australia to go to Korea and Japan, he was at a very good level in the A-League, but then he went to Asia, came back, and then when he had his first season back with us in, I think, 22-23, he looked like a different animal. How did you find, in particular, your time in Korea, and were there any, obviously with it being a different culture and a different style of football, were there any key points that you took away from that experience, even though it was quite short?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a different culture. They don't like days off there. They're very military based, if you want to call it that. They have the compulsory military there. So I think the first week I turned up, our top goal scorer was training, and he looked like a decent player. And then he didn't turn up to train on Wednesday, and I said, where did he go? And they said he's off to the military for 18 months compulsory. So these things were like all new to me. Having a translator was new. Also sleeping at a club base, sleeping, at the club before a game, and if you lose a game as a punishment to sleep at the club, but also taking a lot out of it. As you said, they're very military based, so you train hard, you train very hard, and there's promotion relegation there. So the football is very different, very physical, and a lot of teams don't like to play out from the back because there's obviously that no risk kind of policy. So, and also I love the fact of coming in as a foreigner and trying to make a difference. Almost like, I guess here I've always been a local player, and when the foreigners come in, you really want your foreigners to do well. So kind of putting that pressure on yourself, I think I really enjoyed that. And just learning a whole different culture was nice as well. Obviously, the football, I played really well in the games I played there. There was a problem when the coach got sacked that, I pretty much was told I wasn't going to play again from the day he came in. So it was hard to cope with that mentally, obviously. And once I got the call from Perth and contacted by a few people in the A-League, I just really wanted to get back and playing football and enjoying it again. So, that's where I was at with that.
So what's the due diligence for you as a player in that situation? You know you're not wanted. You've been told you can go and you're open to offers. I assume you didn't just get one offer. So do you ask your mates? Do you text the lads at other clubs? Do you have Zoom chats with Stan? And how just for people who don't understand how, like you when you go, hey, I'm available, what happens?
I guess it's constant. Like I was speaking to Perth before I even went to Korea. So Stan reached out to me even before I signed there. So I guess keeping in contact with different clubs and different people, obviously messaging me how I go. You see with all the apps and the internet now, you can look up people's stats, you can look up people's games pretty easily, get highlights, individual clips, whatever they kind of want. But as a player, I guess the hardest thing for me was just to keep myself fit in a situation where it wasn't ideal. I wasn't training with the team essentially as well. So, and mentally that becomes difficult because you're not going to play every Saturday, and that's why we all play football at any level, is to enjoy that Saturday with your mates and trying to get 3 points. So, but how it kind of works is you're in constant dialogue, and obviously you've got an agent as well who can help you out with the situation. But over there it was, I had a Korean agent as well, so it all kind of they're looking after you there and I guess giving you the information. And the hardest thing is over there you can't explain really how you're feeling because you don't know if it's getting translated properly or if you're getting your tone of voice, I guess, across to how you're feeling about the situation. So it was actually pretty easy in the end because the team I was at, they lost the last 10 out of the 11 games. So
that's a shame.
Yeah, they pretty much wanted to clean out. I know there's more in them, and sometimes in the A-League you just need a little bit extra experience just to get through the games. And I think the second half of the season, hopefully us new signings can hopefully help with that.
Have there been any young players? I know you've obviously been here for a short while, but have there been any young players in training that have stood out to you?
Yeah, when I first got here, obviously Libib wasn't injured, so he just his athleticism really stood out. Like for a centre back to move like that, it's pretty scary. Yeah, it's scary. Remember the game against Auckland? I think he was
the run he took.
95th minute.
Yeah,
I think he was clocked at 36 kilometres. That's it's good going. So yeah, he's a lovely kid. He wants to work hard. He wants to do well. So I think even him playing next to Tommy Murchella now with a bit of experience, that's going to help him a lot as well, just to learn, the smarts of the game or, the little details. And then Pearman's obviously impressive as well. He's very good on the half turn. He's quite creative. He doesn't mind losing the ball, which is a good sign in a young player. He wants to try things, and he's really impressive. And Joel Anasmo is another one coming off the bench. He's been a real spark for us in the last 3 or 4 games. And, with Joel, it's just about building up his aerobic capacity so he can do it over and over again. I think, at the moment he's still a young boy, and, for that last 30 minutes, he can be really explosive for us. And the more times he gets that 30 minutes, I think he can start games and become a player that can, play 60, 70 minutes at a higher quality.
Just a bit on Tommy Murchella, mate. Is he as big and scary as he looks, mate? He's not backwards and coming forwards.
Nah, he is.
He's a bit of a modern day Ivan Drago, mate.
Yeah, he's actually a lovely guy, a really nice family guy. He's got really good leadership qualities, and obviously he was here at Perth when under Popper. He knows, I guess, what it takes in the change room to get to that level. And as I said to you guys, he can help as well with. It's not just what you see on the field, what he's doing off the field with the players to help a young Labib or to help Tas Mutakutis next to him. So it's these little things that it's so much more than a player. He's a great human being and he really wants to help people. So he's a good signing for us.
You've spoken about it. I'm going to put you on the spot. You've spoken about leadership, spoken about Perth being a nice place to live. You've spoken about how you like the coaches, the young players. I'm setting you up here because you're on a short-term contract.
Yeah.
How does that work? What's the plan?
For me, I want to stay here as long as possible. I want to be at the club for a couple of seasons. I don't want to just stay here for 6 months or do anything like that. And I think...
Is there an option on the table for that?
Yeah, there's an option we're talking to the club at the minute now, trying to get it sorted as quickly as we can. Obviously, I've come in and started really well, and I think everyone at the club's seen what I can do here, just not only on the field, but also, my energy and personality. And, I do love a laugh and a joke, and I think it's come at a good time for the lads to have a bit of a refreshing, energy. So, as I said to you guys, I want to get it done as quickly as possible. And as I said, I feel like definitely next season we're going to be in a way better position to push for finals, and that's where this club minimum should be. Because there's such a good fan base, the club's going to be in a better financial situation than it's been in the last few seasons. And obviously the boss and Stan and everyone, they can bring in, all the players they want here and really go for it.
Just one really quick one before James. Have you advised the residents of your plan to stay a bit longer? Because there's a rumour that the frozen peas have been getting too much of a workout.
This was this must have been sent in by either Josh or Ebbs, but
no, we wouldn't have sources.
I'll give you what's been happening. I've been in touch with Ebbs, and she said you've got this strange infatuation with frozen vegetables, mate, and you go to put them back after a day at training, and she goes to make veggies for the kids, and they're
gone.
They've all gone.
Yeah, I think she's put a little bit of gravy on this. The old school icing with my father when I was young was to chuck some peas on there, and I was at their house. Obviously, they gave me somewhere to stay for the first few weeks, and I didn't know where any servo or anything was, and I didn't want to take up their whole freezer with ice, so I used their kids' peas and corns to ice my body. And I just remember them coming out to the lounge one day, and I had some peas and corn on my hamstrings and my calves, and they were laughing. And they're great friends of ours, and I've loved their company in Melbourne, and obviously to come here and know people, it's been great as well.
Well, another thing she says, you need to lay off the protein shakes because she ran out of air freshener, mate. She wasn't too happy about that.
Yeah, apparently it was circulating through the aircon there, so but it's all for a good cause. And I love the Risdons. They're great people, and my partner and Ebbs get along really well, and me and Josh have had a great friendship now for the last 5 years. So I think they
clearly sounds like great friends.
Yeah. And I'm always wrestling his sons and trying not to injure them, but I just need their peas and corn, so I'm sure I'll drop over there this week.
Yeah, because I just want to expand on that, because obviously you and Josh are quite close. How's that helped to translate to relationships and chemistry on the pitch? Because I think Glory fans, with the way in which our team has played the last few years, we haven't really seen the chemistry and the link up with the players that we probably would like. And obviously you played with Josh for a long time at Western. How have you developed that chemistry and link up over the time?
Yeah, I think this is a massive importance in the A-League, is the team culture. Having a change room full of Australians where everyone's so nice and welcoming, and I think that can really help your foreign players as well fit in really quickly. So I know at Western, and even I'm seeing little signs here that, when you've got that group of togetherness and things do get hard, that's the only way you're going to come out of it. You're not going to come out of it by solving it yourself or anything like that. So I think me and Rizzo have been in the same situation at Western, so we know what it takes, and that togetherness and change room is a massive part of it. Everyone, going towards one common goal, and that's to win football games. And, the way Rizzo plays, you guys have seen him over the years. He's fearless. Like he goes 100% the whole
like
game.
A bat out of hell.
Yeah. And he looks knackered after 5 minutes, but somehow punches out his 90 minutes and gets his 10 yellow cards a year. So, but he's a great human being as well. I think anyone that's met Josh, he's, quietly spoken. He's respectful. He's everything, that the club wants us to be, you know, respectful, hard-working. That's what the Glory fans want. You know, they want a team full of that, and that goes a long way to getting results as well.
I've talked a lot about the on-field stuff, but one of the big challenges in Perth is we've got so much competition for airtime, for papers, you know, TV time. And probably one of the failings of the club, I suppose, over the years is nobody knowing who the players are. You know, and there's such a high turnover in the A-League as well. You can have a whole squad, and a year later you can have a half a different squad again, and in January you lose a load of other lads. Do you feel, you know, talking about leadership and you know, Western United being a startup club, all the stuff that had to be done in the community, I suppose I'm just wondering what your thoughts is on that community awareness and getting to know the kids that are impressionable, young, follow Premier League teams but don't necessarily go to the Glory. How did you play a part in that at Western, and is that something maybe that you're interested in here as well?
Yeah, I think in Australian football it's huge importance. You know, so many times that you see on, you know, the internet, Twitter, like people have opinions on players and people just see what they're like on the field. They don't actually know their off the field, their story. You know, the likes of Irukunda, where they've come from, what they've been through to actually get to that point in their life. People always ask me about, people hate Scott Jamieson, but I think he's one of the best blokes you'll meet. Yeah. He's competitive. He wants to win.
We loved him when he was here. He's one of those guys who loved when he's playing for you, and then
yeah, you know, but that's you know,
it's his
that's
character,
the hardest thing.
isn't it?
It's his
like
character. He's a winner. He's aggressive. But he's actually a beautiful guy. He's got a family. Like, so it's about getting. I think the TV deal has a lot to do with it as well. To, you know, instead of playing the Paramount before the game with a circle around it, play a clip of, you know, someone's background or where they've been, or, you know, 10 quick questions about, you know, Adam Taggart or someone, so people get to know.
I like how they put the junior club next to it, because I mean, you get a kid, you know, watching it and going, "Oh, I played for the same club as me," or whatever like that, or down the road. Whatever.
I think getting out to the schools is massive importance. We did a lot of that, you know, at Western, in the, you know, Western area, because it's a hardworking area. You know, financially in Melbourne, probably a lesser area. So getting out to the schools and, you know, giving away tickets. You know, I know it sounds bad, but if you give kids 30 tickets, their parents go, "Oh, we got a free ticket, so we'll buy one and come along." You know, trying to get us out there as much as possible. You know, your face is out there. You know, trying to get down to the women's games, trying to get down to the NPL games to support the younger boys as well is something that, you know, I'll try and do here as well. So just to, you know, not only support them, but also for the, you know, for the fans and stuff, to see that, you know, we want to support the club, and, you know, we want to grow the fan base as well back to what it should be here.
Just one quick one, mate. Of course, City this weekend away, Amy Park. How you feeling about this one, mate? And I mean, they're not in the greatest of spaces the last couple of weeks, City.
Yeah, oh mate, we've actually trained really well this week. It's been really upbeat. You know, watched a video back from Central Coast, and there's so many positives. You know, so many chances, especially just before half time. I think we had 2 or 3 golden chances to make it 2-0. So, and that probably kills off the game. So, yeah, there's no lack of confidence that we're going to go there and really give it a good shake. And, you know, I think we've been playing well, and we just need one big scout, you know, a City or a Sydney in the next few weeks, and that'll give the players even more confidence that we're heading in the right direction. And I feel like City have been struggling the last few weeks. They've got quite a young team at the moment as well. So, but also they got Lachie and Tilio coming back. So, yeah, we're going to have to play well and, be super aggressive and go out there and try and get the 3 points.
But we can't let you go without asking the really pertinent question. It comes in 2 parts. One is, why the long hair? And 2, how do you maintain
it? He's from Terrigal. Have you been to Terrigal?
It's funny. I went through a bit of a wacky stage during COVID where I dyed it all blonde and then shaved it all off and haven't cut it since. I think it's been about 3 or 4 years since I've cut it. So my partner does give it a trim every now and then, because I've learnt that the ends of your hair do get dead, apparently.
Yeah,
so
apparently.
Yeah. So definitely, yeah. And that's where you start to form the dreadlocks. So she trims it every couple of months. And then also going to Korea helped with, they love their skincare over there. Yeah. So they love, they have a shop there called Olive Young, it's about 5 stories of skincare. And I actually got on a hair product train there, and you know, my teammates over there, they had cucumbers and face mask on after the game. So I thought, I'll just get around them and get the hair care going. So brought the products home. And
how's that rolling out in the change room now?
yeah, look, I'm hiding it. I'm trying to be not noticed doing it.
It's all right. No one listens to the podcast anyway, mate.
I've got one in the shower that goes in the shower, and then one that do when it's dry, and you've got to try get.
You got a sponsorship yet?
Nah,
be on your way.
Anyone willing to
All the hair products.
chuck in?
Well, Team Day Spas is part of the.
Yeah, the hardest thing is though on game day I spray it full of wax and all these sprays, and it probably just kills the hair treatment I've been doing. So.
Lachie, thanks, mate. Thanks for very much for giving us some time, matey, and all the best for this weekend and the rest of the season.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it, and hopefully we can get some 3 points this weekend. So, cheers.
What a run! This could be the one! It's in! That's what it's all about! And when it comes to sports gear that helps you perform your best, ID Athletic has the winning formula. From grassroots clubs to elite athletes, ID Athletic provides high-quality sporting apparel, screen printing, embroidery, and made-to-order promotional products. Proud sponsors of the Far Post Perth and passionate supporters of WA community sport. Visit ID Athletic at 84 Howe Street, Osborne Park, or online at idathletic.com. ID Athletic. Build your identity.
Tired of the same old cookie cutter home designs? Dreaming of a space that truly reflects you? Then it's time to talk to the team at Trio Homes. Whether you're looking to build your dream home, redesign your current space, or simply renovate, Trio Homes is committed to unique designs, local personalised service, and quality workmanship. And with former Perth Glory star Dino Julbich at the helm, you'll know you're getting passion and dedication built into every project. Discover the difference with Trio Homes. Visit triohomes.com.au.
Big thank you to Lachie Wales, who joined us just before the break. Don't forget, you can get that in full by subscribing to the podcast, Apple, Spotify, and of course, YouTube Music. Gents, let's have a bit of a look quickly at the weekend. Just quickly, we've got NPL Night Series carrying on. We've got State League Night Series, a bit happening across the rest of the week. But as far as the A-League goes, A-League Men, Friday night, we'll grab some tips for this one. Melbourne Victory, Wellington at Amy Park.
Victory should win this for me.
A draw. Yeah.
They got the wobbles, you reckon, Victory?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right.
They got a bounce back, surely.
I'm going to go Victory to bounce back in that one. First game on the Saturday, Melbourne City v Perth, 2 p.m. Paramount Plus for that one. I'm thinking draw in this one. I think Perth can possibly get a point.
If we can kick their ass early, I think we can beat them.
Lockie's still in the building, so I think they can go there and get a draw. Yeah,
City,
I'll take a draw.
Saturday also Western United Auckland. That is at Amy Park or is that out at Tarneet?
Not sure.
Not sure.
I think this will be an entertaining draw.
It's a good game, actually.
Yeah.
It's not a bad game. I'd like it if it was in Tarneet because they're not likely to get a big crowd, so you want it to be.
I think it's a banana skin for Auckland.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. I think West United have enough to put it up to them anyway for most of the game.
They should have beat MacArthur.
They might get a bit of a shock. So I'll go with a draw, but I wouldn't be surprised if Western United.
Saturday night, Adelaide v Newcastle. Adelaide at home for me.
Adelaide should be too comfortable for me.
Yeah, Adelaide. Yeah, but did enjoy bits and pieces of Newcastle last week. They were good.
And we've also got Western Sydney v MacArthur on the Sunday.
I think the Wanderers should bounce back for this. MacArthur, I thought they weren't very convincing.
Off the boil?
Yeah, they weren't very convincing for me against Western, so yeah.
A few disciplinary issues for MacArthur at the weekend's game. Jermaine
show
has
cause, I didn't see that.
Yeah, show cause notice. There was
for what?
A bit of abuse towards the referee, basically, a few of them. And Jermaine got please explain. Okay. So I might get a game or two out of that if found guilty, and that would be a massive loss for them. So, yeah, if that's the case, I thought, depends what Sapsford turns up.
Yeah. How good is he in derbies?
Yeah, exactly. If he can replicate that in other games, he looks class. So, if that happens, as in Jermaine out and Sapsford turns up, Western Sydney.
All right. Let's have a bit of a look at the A-League Women's across the weekend. Friday, Western Sydney v Newcastle. Saturday, Adelaide v Canberra. Also on Saturday is Melbourne City v Sydney. That'll be a good match, always a good one, despite where Sydney are sitting. They're the two strongest teams historically. Melbourne Victory against Central Coast on the Sunday. Also on the Sunday is Brisbane against Western United. And finally, back to the Sam Kerr Football Centre for Perth v Wellington. Maybe another. Is it possible to win that one at home, James?
Yes. They should.
They should, because Wellington, their form has been a bit patchy. But I think the Glory Girls are due another win for me, because I think their performance against Adelaide wasn't too fantastic, but the performance before against Canberra.
Just got so many injuries, it's hard. It's hard at the moment. But a home game against Wellington, you should be targeting. That definitely is
All right.
Definitely
bounce
winnable.
back.
Let's finish up, boys. Nonsense predictions, bold predictions. What are we looking forward to?
I'm just going to say, because he's in the room, Lachie to get a hat trick.
No pressure.
No pressure at all.
No pressure. I'll put the mortgage on it, and we'll have a chat about it next week. Bold prediction. Blayne, you can go first.
I don't have one. I've got nothing on this one.
You got nothing.
Just trying to have a bit
Hat
of
trick's the call.
I'm going
4 red cards across the games. 5 games.
I'm going to go down a similar theme.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that there will be at least 5 players this weekend hit their quota for 5 yellow cards.
How many are on the board?
There is
There's a
crap
few.
loads.
There's a few.
There's about 20.
Nah, fucking red cards
Across
for me.
the
4 of them. 4 of them. Let's go. Let's go. 1 in each game, apart from 1, which I will.
There you go. Put the mortgage on that, Sherwin. Bet responsibly. 1-800-038-038.
And if you're a registered footballer, don't bet at all.
That's right.
Come on.
That's right.
I got the warning the other day with my rego.
Oh, there you go.
Reminder, don't bet.
Big
And
thank you
I did tick the box.
to Lachie Wales. Big thank you as always to ID Athletic and Dina Djurbic at Trio Homes. Big thank you to you, James Renton and Neil Sherwin. Big thank you to all our listeners. Of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give us a review, which is also very, very good. And don't forget to the Kit Out Your Team competition. You can head over to our social media for more details on that. And to enter, we just need to know your favourite kit of all time. IDAthletic.com. Looking forward to seeing how that all plays out. That will be drawn this coming Friday, the 14th of February. So looking forward to getting some winners for that. Until next time, this has been the Far Post Perth Podcast.